All right, everybody, welcome back. This is part 2. We're going to get EJ in here. We don't know what happened. We started talking about medical martial law, and boom, I have no idea. I have no clue. So we're going to get EJ back in here. We're going to continue with part 2. No clue what just happened. I couldn't even tell you. If I wasn't looking in the chat room, I never would have realized anything was wrong. I tried exiting out of YouTube, coming back in, and it was still stuck on. I don't know. I can't even begin to tell you what went wrong. But so let's get EJ back in here. Let me just message him with a link. All right. And we'll get EJ back in here and we will start this again. Like I said, apologize. We started talking about medical martial law and boom, something happened. Not sure. But let's get EJ back in here. I hope you guys are enjoying tonight's broadcast. I told you guys, EJ he's my original co-host when I had a co-host on the show back in 2016. And then he went off on his own with Factions of Freedom, and he's doing fantastic. Yeah, and you can see why he's one of my favorite people to talk to or talk with about this, because he's just you wouldn't believe that he's in his late 20s. He's just a youngster. He's just a pup. So let's get him back in here. There he is. Gotcha.
Maybe.
There you are. I was just telling everybody that I don't understand what happened. We started talking about medical martial law and boom. I exited out of YouTube. I tried pulling us back in and we were stuck. It was like we weren't advancing. And we don't have a limit on how long we can broadcast on this because I have the paid subscription to it. So I don't know what happened. But I knew something was wrong because our numbers went down. We had 120 people in the chat room and it went down to 30. And so I knew there was something wrong. So,
of course, it's because we were getting into the meat and potatoes.
Exactly. So let's pick up where we left off. So we were talking about medical martial law, and I said that, and I don't know where it broke off. But let's go back to where I said that we have to look at China as a whiteboard for what's happening now. Because that's all we have to go on. And because China was able to go in, because they are a communist nation, they are able to go in and they are able to take possession of people, go in and test them, if you're running a fever or whatever, and they could take and hold them in quarantine. And we sit there and we go, oh, well, it's okay, but that's a communist nation. That doesn't affect us because we are free. We're the United States of America. We have our constitutional rights. No. Unfortunately, when martial law is declared, medical martial law or martial law is declared, you no longer have those constitutional rights. The Constitution is suspended. And under martial law, thanks to Obama, if you display any signs of a respiratory infection, and we're not even talking about infection here, respiratory illness, whether it be COPD, asthma, whatever, they can by law come in and detain you indefinitely into a quarantine FEMA camp situation. So let's look at how many states are we looking at right now that are under a state of emergency.
I think the last time I looked, it's like 32. I'm not sure. That might have been. Don't quote me. I'm not sure. But if you give me a second, I can pull up the coronavirus tracker and we can look at it. But if you ask me, I feel like some states aren't really reporting their numbers. But right now we have Oregon, Los Angeles. Crap. Let me go ahead and get it up.
Okay, well, whatever places right now are under state of emergency, we know that Washington State is, we know California is, we know Florida, I believe is, New York State's talking about it, and we've got all these places. Those places, guys, The Constitution is suspended. Okay. They have the right to come in under what Obama has signed into law under an executive order. They have that right to detain anybody who displays a respiratory illness, a respiratory symptoms.
And there are some people that are saying, the Chinese released this to attack Trump for, winning the trade war and stuff like that. I feel like that's, again, more of that peripheral talk that kind of like really diminishes what's actually happening.
Yeah, it is. It's more of a distraction on it. And, that I think that goes along with, the whole, this is a false flag. This is just blah, 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 blah. Regardless of who released it, regardless of whether it's real or not, regardless of whatever, you have to look at what agenda is being pushed in lieu of it. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, let's say that it's not real. Let's say the coronavirus is not, it's not even real. Okay, let's open up that rabbit hole. Let's go down there and say, this is not even real. This is a false flag. Nobody died over in China. It doesn't matter. Look what's happening. People are still panicking. People are still doing a run on Costco and Walmart and their store shelves are being emptied. Yeah. So regardless of whether this is real or not, the effects are real.
Yeah. You're having school closures, events get shut down. Like we talked about before, we got hit with some unknown interruption. We were talking
so rude.
Right? So rude. We were just getting a good groove going, really setting the stage for people. What's happening? We're talking about school closures, food shortages, power going out, lack of gasoline, stuff like that. And sorry, you don't talk about that. Change topic. Yeah. See, there's so many different angles to this that when you really start breaking it down, it does become kind of quite frightening. And because we're on a bubble economy as is, we all understand like this is a debt bubble, fiat currency society that we're just hoping doesn't burst. And so there's a lot of different things that come here. They shut this thing down even for 2 months. What's that going to do to the economy? What is that going to do to people? We're already like, I just want to do like a quick news blitz of articles I got from Drudge Report just before coming onto the air. We're already having strange things take place within the first couple weeks of people reacting, right? Costco being taken down, or Costco having runs on it, Walmart having runs on it, Lowe's, Sam's Club, things like this. Yeah. I hate to sound crazy, but I affiliated with My Patriot Supply, and I saw their delivery window go from guaranteed 2-day delivery to now 4 to 8 weeks because they had a increase from 5 times their normal order to 10 to 15 times their normal order to 100 times their normal order volume. And that's because every place else, and this is a lot of the stuff that I was learning, like peripherally, this is some of that anecdotal evidence that was telling me stuff is going on. The general public really isn't aware. We're tied into something that's making us aware. The military bases being turned into quarantine facilities, Walmart's having runs done on them by military people around those bases, food shortages in certain places, other storable good companies going out of supply, but still taking money, receiving massive amounts of orders, but not being able to fulfill them. Other places selling out to FEMA, other places selling out to corporations, banks, governments, institutions. My Patriot Supply was designed to help civilians because they knew all that bull crap would happen. But if even these people who were supposed to be civilian food storage people got to a point to where they are basically 4 weeks out from being able to deliver food, what does that tell you? So that's some of that anecdotal stuff. Now,
let me ask you a question, and you don't have to answer it. It's just a question that I want people to just be honest with yourself right now. If you were to be quarantined in your house starting tomorrow for 2 months, would you be able to survive it?
I have an article saved from Business Insider of how to have an effective workout during quarantine. It is something I'm having to gear my mind to think about.
Well, I mean, think about this, and this is a question that I maybe you can answer for me, but I'm not sure. Maybe somebody in the chat room, I can click on the chat room over here and see. But let me ask you a question. So, say that we do under quarantine. Say that we do have the same conditions that China is experiencing right now, or Italy. Actually, let's go with Italy. Italy just closed down its borders and it's quarantining 187 million people
today.
Let me ask you this question. So say we all get quarantined in our houses and we're not sure for how long, and our electric bill comes due,
Mm-hmm.
or our mortgage payment comes due, or our car payment comes due, and we haven't worked in 6 weeks. What happens to our economy? I don't think people realize the impact this would have. The banks can't say, okay, well, don't worry about it, don't pay it, because then they're not making money.
Yep.
So you got to think about this. Let's not just think about, do we have a month's supply of food? We have to think about, do we have a month's supply of anything, whether it be money in the bank? Because a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck and they can't afford. Yep. When I was single, I couldn't afford to take 2 days off of work if I was sick, let alone 2 months.
No, and I think that's kind of what I find myself thinking about these days. The world can't, even if we were to do it for 2 months, or even just 30 days. I don't really think people understand like what that's going to do. It's going to drain the economy. No one's going to be able to take out loans if nobody's going to be able to go to the banks. And so I've definitely been reading a few different articles on that. And this is why all I can summarize it as is the socioeconomic reformation. We're seeing that the system is flawed. Like you said, we are all living paycheck to paycheck. None of us can take like a day off. No. I have to hustle so much for every single scraping dollar I have. But this is a test on so many levels that all I can really say is for my exclusive members and private people. I'm really trying to say that lifestyle habits, learning new skills is the only way that we're going to get through this. You're having places like Amazon, Twitter, FedBook, and so much more learn to work from home. If we all don't figure out different ways to come up with like alternative income streams, different ways to make revenue, we're going to get caught up. And so that's a whole different discussion that, again, people who aren't looking at this aren't ready to have, because they don't see what comes down the line of all of this.
Right. And I didn't even touch on what happens if the panic rises to the next level and people start pulling their money out of the banks.
Oh, dude, we're going to have a Greece-style situation. We'll have a Greece-style situation that leads to like Venezuela. And then, that's whenever all these people who want their civil war and their boogaloo, that's when it will happen. Some people are saying that this is like a disguise or a ruse for the financial collapse. And so I'm having to sit up over here and figure out how to talk to the audience about how to go through a 30-day period where you're in lockdown. Like you said before, a month's period, 2 months period. What are you going to do in the meantime? We're basically imprisoned in our own homes. And it happened just like that. So again, people don't understand the days that we've entered into and how the world that we used to know is dwindling away. And if we want any semblance of freedom, we have to begin to take it back for ourselves. They're not going to give it to us. They're trying to set the conditions to where we give it away. And so that's why I talked about and how I'll leave it in the description bar below as well. Several different posts that you can have to take care of yourself. But it goes beyond that. It goes beyond physical preparation.
Right. And thank you. I'm glad you came around to that, because I wanted to say that it goes past physical. It goes past financial. Let's talk about the sounds, the videos I've listened to of the people from Wuhan. They're calling it, I believe, the Wuhan screams.
Jeez.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, but I don't have a clip, unfortunately, to pull up. I didn't get around to posting it.
I shared it with everybody a while ago, but it's called the Wuhan. I believe it's Wuhan screams, and they're literally putting their.
It's terrifying.
Hold on, I've got it right here. So when we talk about, I'm going to take you off of here. I'm gonna pull this up. So when we talk about taking care of ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically, spiritually, this is something that we as a society aren't prepared for. I want you guys to take a listen to this.
Jayo! Jayo!
Solidarity.
That really gets to me, that, because it's
citywide solidarity.
It's very emotional for me, because it's like, you listen to these people and they've had their entire worlds, again, this is something that people don't understand is, yes, they live in a communist country, and yes, things, but they're human beings locked into a world that we're not meant to be in. You're not meant to be in quarantine for a month, 2 months. You're not meant. There's a video out right now that I have. I'll post it up on my Facebook if I can find it again. I think I saved it. I thought I did. It is a actually, you know what? I have it right here. Right here. Mine, you don't know what I did. Stop it. just never mind. I do that a lot. I take it on the wrong page. Okay. There's a guy right now in Italy, this man right here. And his sister is dead in this house, and he has, for 24 hours, he's been calling for help, and nobody's come. And
good Lord.
He's in the video. He says, "Good evening. I have reached the point of making this video message for the good of the Italy and Naples. Yesterday, my sister died, probably from the Corona-19. I'm waiting answers from the institutions from last night. No one has come forward. This video is too strong. Don't let the children and the elderly see this. I am forced with all the pain to fight the situation. I have my sister dead in the bed, and I don't know what to do. I can't give it the praise it deserves because the institutions have abandoned me. I contacted anyone. I don't know. I don't say who. No one has given me answers. I'm waiting of the response of the 911 because last night under my will, I made them do the corona swab for my sister. To me personally, the swab test was denied. They said, we have to wait the results of your sister. I've quarantined myself. Today I could go anywhere. I could have infected everyone. I attempted to make my sister survive. I had to do mouth-to-mouth breathing, and no one cares. No one's calling. Her medic didn't come to check on her. She had epilepsy. She was the risky. No one cared. Guys, we're ruined. Italy has abandoned us. Share this video. I need answers.
Jeez.
This man is, and this is something that as human beings, I don't think we are prepared for. You can sit there, guys, and you can say that this is nothing to worry about. This is just the flu. Okay. It's just the flu. It's there's you guys are fear mongers. You're doing this, you're doing that. But then when you go and you realize that this is a genetically modified strain, the word novel right in front of it tells us everything. Let me just even it's the term novel. I mean, that says it's new. Novel is new. And then we have this right here where it says, this is something brand new, guys. We're going down uncharted territory, aren't we, EJ? Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was saying before, people that are trying to downplay this, saying that this is simply the flu. We know the history of the flu. We know where it came from. We know the conditions that it was created in. We don't know the history of the coronavirus other than that it's man-made. We are the history of the coronavirus. And when we make through it, the coronavirus will have history. The novel COVID-19 coronavirus will have history because they took this thing, jacked it up with all kinds of different insertions and mutations and modified it to a point to where it's like a chimeric virus. It adapts. It's very dangerous. So we don't know the history of this. And when you add the media fanning the flames, the social engineering and the social media aspect behind it, you've got to understand that we're dealing with technocrats, people behind the scenes that would do some evil stuff like this. My God, towards the end of 2018, Bill Gates talked about teaming up with Harvard to spray calcium carbonate to reflect sunlight. So if you don't think that the Chinese would release some type of race-specific or age-specific bioweapon, you're not unfortunately paying attention.
Did you see this? Let me pull it up. Yeah, I've got friends. Look at these. These are my friends. Look at this. I got Santa down here.
Hey, kids.
I gotta love my friends. Right here, Gates Foundation to help with coronavirus testing in Seattle.
Oh, I'm sure. How wonderful. and guess what? Didn't Seattle just go up underneath a state of emergency?
It did. And let me ask you a question now, because this is something that I had forgotten about, but about 3 or 4 months ago, there was a YouTube channel, and I tried finding him, and he's not there any longer, probably because he was blowing smoke up people's butts with his prophecy. But he kept saying about how Seattle was going to get attacked, how there was something coming from above to attack Seattle. Do you remember that?
I have not come across that, no.
Okay, this was a few months. I can't remember when it was, but it was last year sometime. I think it was maybe August, September. I think it was September. I think it was where he was predicting that something from above was going to happen with Seattle, and and I thought it was interesting when I saw the Seattle. You know how you see things that it kind of triggers. Yep. Oh, okay. Well, that was So, and I know Simpsons has a lot to do. There's a Simpsons episode, I believe, that has the Space Needle in it with Seattle. Or was it Simpsons or it was one or the other? I think it was Simpsons.
Well, I wouldn't put it past doing it in Seattle because these, I don't want to generalize too bad, but people are there's a lot of people that have injection sites and crazy things that are going on over there in Seattle. So I could see how, if something were to break down, that part of the population would be probably a little bit more understanding when it came to implementing medical martial law, dealing with people that have specific medical problems and so much more. So I don't want to justify it, but I could see how that would be like the initial test case. I mean, good Lord, that's why Bill and Melinda Gates are operating outside of there, because these people are a little bit more liberal in their understanding when it comes
little liberal.
A little. That's just how I want to term it. I don't want to go any further.
Now, okay, is Seattle? Is that where Microsoft was originally?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's either Seattle or New Mexico. I know I'm out here in New Mexico. We got Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. So
I think Seattle was. I think it was the original like 1980s Microsoft. That's where people went and they worked, and they actually. I knew a couple of people when I lived out in Phoenix. They were in their mid 20s, late 20s, and they had cashed out on their Microsoft stocks, and they were millionaires.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Well, he's one of the. He is one of the chief officers of the New World Order. He is definitely a technocrat. He is.
Well, and if guys, back in 2014, I think it was, or 2015, there was a secret meetings between Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, Bloomberg, what's his guy's name? I always get him mixed up with the singer. The calypso singer, the
Elton John?
No. I can't even think of his name now, but he's a millionaire. And they had a secret meeting off the coast of Georgia, and their discussion was depopulation.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, why would Oprah Winfrey and Bloomberg and Gates and all these people, why would they need to meet in secret and talk about global depopulation? You know, well, look at it. Gates is a eugenics. You know, look at all of his work in Africa, and Oprah Winfrey also. Look at their work in Africa and how, you know, they've pretty much sterilized people there. They've pretty much ruined
people's lives. Like they literally use Africa as a testing ground. And I feel like a few years ago, didn't India kick out Bill Gates, like the Bill and Melinda
Absolutely
Gates?
he did. Absolutely he did. Yeah. And look at his TED Talk. Look at when he talked about getting our carbon footprint down to zero. Well, in order to do that, you've got to put the population down to zero too, you know?
Well, see, that's the thing. People don't understand like the academic infiltration, not only of like communism, but again, like the Satanism and the Luciferianism, and how it's wormed its way into like an ideology that represents communism. It is anti-human. And so when you have these people pushing this whole climate change, global warming, sustainable development agenda, that's just politically correct population control, if you ask me.
Yep.
The same way that we talk about Warren Buffett, all these people who
Warren Buffett, that was it. I couldn't remember his name.
Well, that's how it happens. You always got to remember afterwards.
Well, somebody put it in the chat room. I'm not going to take credit for it.
But no, that's what we're seeing right now. When we tell you that people like Zbigniew Brzezinski or Jacob Rothschild or David Rockefeller, you know, even George Soros to a degree, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, these are all different technocrats and officers of the New World Order who all have different varying parts of the agenda to take care of. When Zbigniew Brzezinski went away, boom, different parts of the agenda took place. Whenever what was the most recent one? Rockefeller, right? Because after like six heart transplants, he kicked the bucket.
David Rockefeller, yeah. Well, you know, and here's the thing: is you got to think about this. Did he really kick the bucket, or are we talking about? There was an episode of one of the sci-fi cartoons where they had pictures of heads that were in
Futurama.
Jars. Futurama, absolutely, Futurama. Yep, Futurama with the heads in the jars.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. We do have the technology for life extension and more. And so just to put like a bow, you know, on that thought, there are different agendas that have to be carried out by different people. And I thoroughly believe that we're seeing Bill Gates's aspect of this agenda take place. And it's going to have so many different implications that people just don't understand. We're so used to it. And I remember closing out 2019 talking about the evolution of warfare because we thought it was so simple. Just bang, bang, shoot them up, they're dead. You know, chuck a bullet at them and put it in their brain, they're dead. No, it's a different situation. There's spiritual warfare, biological warfare, chemical warfare, psychological warfare. There's so many different types of warfare that it's evolving. And so when we talk about all these different things in so many different ways, what we're trying to do is prepare people and make them aware that it's not just a linear, one-dimensional aspect to a lot of things. You have to wake up or you have to choose. And that's what's happening right now.
Exactly. And let me just ask you this on a personal opinion level, is that, and I asked this of Marcus Kaiser, do you think that the coronavirus could be that perfect storm?
Well, Bill Gates said that it could be the once in a century plague that's talked about, and the fact that it's man-made, it could be that. I remember asking people with my exclusive members discussion this past week about the concept of triggering prophecy, and this is something I'm very, very interested in. We understand that we're living in prophetic times and we're living in revelation. Could these people be, because this is how Satanists and Luciferians would work, they would work to advance the agenda of their master.
Right.
So to answer your question simply, you know,
Well,
I
because
wouldn't say
I'm
that it is.
seeing, I'm seeing through this coronavirus, I'm seeing the psychological warfare. I'm seeing the biological warfare. I'm seeing the technological warfare. With the 5G, I'm seeing every warfare that you just mentioned. Every single one of them, you can sit there and go, yes, that is coronavirus.
Well, that's how these have all the hallmarks of everything we need to know. That's how we know this is what we're dealing with, that this is like an agenda, that this isn't the flu. That's how we
Right.
know this isn't the flu, is because it has all of these different implications. It's got history to it. It's got, like I said before, several different agendas at play. Who stands to gain? Everybody that's already in control. It's just a reshuffling of what we already see going on. It's a passing of the mantle. There's a lot of different things going on with this. And because we're just in the beginning stages, people are too busy denying themselves. They can't see what this means. And so while we're having this conversation, there are people that are still stuck wherever they are. We're talking about where this is taking us. Again, the socioeconomic and socio-political ramifications. This has all of the hallmark signs of it: blocking down travel, food shortages, consumption versus production, even climate change. Shucks, there were satellite photos that were put out of what happened whenever they shut down China. The pollution went down. Some people said, well, maybe that was just them trying to burn less bodies. I don't know. There's all
Yeah.
kinds of different angles with this, and that's how you know this isn't something simple that's going to pass. We might be dealing with this throughout the entirety of the year.
Let me ask you another thing. I don't know. Do you follow Q?
Yeah, no, not really. Like
Yeah. I it's one of those. I think Q is one of those things that you need to follow from the beginning. You can't come in the middle. I guess I don't know. I know too much about. I know too much about the background of Q and the cicada 3130 or 3301. I know a lot to do with that whole situation, and I've stayed clear of it. But I know that Trump and Q have been pushing for the storm is coming, the storm is coming, the storm is coming, the storm, the storm. That's all I kept hearing for like a year was, the storm that was coming. And I thought it was interesting that we're seeing now that the people that have the coronavirus are dying of what's known as the cytokine storm.
well, I know you says that arrests are coming, and I remember
Yeah.
pointing out just the other week that, well, wouldn't it be crazy that all these high level officials, if they were to go inside of prison, jail, or whatever supermax facility that has its own quarantine procedures and facilities and stuff like that, while everything out here in the real world goes to shit. Sure would be a shame if these people that were known criminals were to be protected while the rest of us civilians were to be affected by all these other crazy things. And so that's kind of where my mind starts to
And that's
veer
and that's
sometimes.
not that's not even a crazy thought, because I mean we know that in the Bible it says that they're going to try to hide. They're going to essentially leave us to die. That's
Yeah.
why they built these underground cities. That's why they've continued to build these bunkers. It's not for us, it's for them. So when the perpetual S hits the fan, they are going to, leave us to fend for ourselves on the outside world. So absolutely, you're not far off. You're spot on that thought process.
It's okay. These scumbags can build whatever tomb they want. It's still a grave, and they will still meet their judgment. Doesn't matter if they want to look nice doing it. Guess what? You don't get to take all that gold and all that blood money with you when you go to
Exactly.
hell.
Exactly. That's very true. You don't. And I think that's, where people, one good thing I believe that I've heard is coming out of China. And this is something that is just amazing when you think about the social and religious aspect of the nation, of a communist nation, is that people are taking advantage of being in quarantine and spreading the word of God. So souls are being won over there, for the good guys, for the Most High, when it comes to this whole quarantine situation.
And that's something that I again, I wouldn't put it past a lot of these Chinese or the Chinese to do what they're doing, because throughout the entirety of 2019 and 18, I remember reporting on the Chinese government destroying churches,
Yeah.
tearing down the Ten Commandments, rewriting them with Xi Jinping quotes, installing Communist Party officials inside of the church, rewriting the Bible to make sure that it was communist approved, destroying graves,
Yeah.
ripping coffins out of the ground, tearing down churches, putting Christians inside of these thought transformation centers, re-education camps, labeling them as
Re-education camps. Yeah.
extremists, and all kinds of stuff. So this is not far off if you understand like the methodology of the people that are running China. If you understand communism and how there will be no other religion than the state, you will not disrespect the state. You are all slaves of the state. When you understand the mindset of communism and what they're
Yeah.
doing, of course they would kill off their population. Of course they would mess up the numbers. They don't want to work with the world. You see, like it is very sketchy relying on these people who are known manipulators and deceivers and expecting for them to be honest in a time of chaos. They will use this as an opportunistic moment. I remember reporting on it. President Xi Jinping said that this crisis will be good for the Chinese economy. And I thought, good Lord, how could somebody say that right now? You have thousands of people dying. You're quarantining 11 million people. How could you say that this disaster is going to be beneficial for your economy? Well, for people who like to invert things and play in that type of magic, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Absolutely.
And so I'm just wargaming how these people are going to do this. They're going to sell us because our pharmaceuticals come from China. Roughly 80% of it is made in China. They give us our drugs. That's who's shipping all the fentanyl.
Yes. Well, I mean, hey, you think about it. How's that outsourcing working out for us now?
This is globalization. This is how we know it's flawed. This is how we see that what they're pushing endangers the rest of us. Because
this is what happens. And this is what happens when governments compartmentalize. This is what happens when you depend on China for everything.
China.
You know, I mean, seriously. I mean, look at. Let's go back. I'm going to take you off of here. I'm going to take off of this. Let's go back to this for just a quick second and look at this. Okay, when trucks stop, the whole logistics system over in China has already ceased. They are turning away ships. You know, so when you look at this, and we talked about the first 24 hours, we talked about within one day, and then come over here as between day 2 and 3, within a week, within 2 weeks, within 4 weeks, the nation will exhaust its clean water supply, and water will be water will be safe for drinking only after boiling. As a result, gastrointestinal illnesses will increase, further taxing an already weakened healthcare system.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've got people. So here you have an initial contagion that you think after you go into quarantine for 4 weeks, for 14 to 28 days, whatever, how long they tell us to. I'm opting for the 28 because I don't believe in the 14. I don't believe it's 14 at all.
Nope.
So say you go into quarantine for 28 days. Okay. Now your entire structural, your entire infrastructure, outer structure, governmental, your entire integrity of your nation is crumbling. And you can't replace anything that you've used. Nothing's moving. And all of a sudden now you have secondary infections. Now you've got bubonic plague. Now you've got, I mean, literally this can happen. This is not a frightening, could possibly happen. This is what is going to happen.
I'm right now. There's this article over here. It's from Zero Hedge, but they reposted it over there at the Minds Unleashed. It's titled "All hospital beds in the U.S. will be filled by May 8th, according to an analysis."
I saw that.
This is put forth by Dr. Liz Specht, a PhD in biology and the Associate Director of Science and Technology for the Good Food Institute. And I'll put the link for the full transcript in the description bar below. But in the thread, she basically talks about the evolution of how we can expect to see cases double every 6 days, and how that's going to put a strain on the medical system, how that's going to put a strain on the pharmaceuticals that are available. And then when you have those people dying, what that's going to do, hospitalization, so much more. And then the effects of people not being able to get their loved ones to funerals, the traffic.
Well, when you think about it, okay, so we're talking about pharmaceuticals, and this, I think they're talking, mostly people are worried about, oh, we're not going to be able to get, the masks, we're not going to be able to get the medicines to take care of the people that have the coronavirus. What about the people that need blood pressure medicine, insulin?
Yeah, and
what about those people?
That's something I really do feel like people aren't thinking about because they're only thinking of themselves. And that's when these coronavirus patients go into these medical facilities, they will get priority treatment. The people who are already in, say, end of life care or in these nursing facilities, wherever it is, they're going to have their pharmaceuticals, their meds taken from them because they've been given to these priority subjects. There's only so long that these people can live without these medications before they begin to deteriorate themselves. That's whenever more problems show up. And so not only do you have a priority case, but you also have a secondary case that's going to get worse. And other cases that it's just going to spiral. And this is a very, very dangerous thing. So all we can really start doing, and this is why, again, I said I'll put the link in the description bar below for 6 to several different posts with studies coinciding with them that talk about boosting your immune system, because that's all we can do. These are just the people that are going to report to actual hospitals, you see, who may not know that they can take their health back. These are people that are rushing to the hospitals. They will get overwhelmed. I can assure you. And the same way that Laurie played that video of that gentleman in Italy talking about his own sister unable to get care, that will happen here. This is a slow motion train wreck, and I don't think a lot of us are really prepared for what's coming down the line.
And I said this, I actually said this yesterday, I think it was on the broadcast, where I said that, we have been watching for the last, how long has this been going on now? 6-8 weeks?
Yeah, too long.
Okay, so say let's use 8 weeks as our timetable. The bullet left the gun 8 weeks ago in China, and it has been slowly moving toward us. We have a choice to make. We can either sit here and watch it come at us and wait till the last minute to move out of the way, or we can prepare for that bullet to hit us. Either way, we can't stop the bullet. When you think about it, we can't. There's no way the bullet can be stopped. It's like the train wreck. The train's already left the station. The train's already in motion. We don't have any brakes on it because it's already in motion. Okay.
Yeah, I've been telling people that the same way they kind of weaponize the Muslim migration, the immigration invasion, and the mass migration, and now we're calling for the wall because we don't want thousands of people coming in here, is the very same way that we will call for medical martial law using the threat of this virus. People need to understand like the modality of these people, the Hegelian dialectic, the problem reaction solution. That's why we spent like all this time trying to break down so many different facets that you get a healthy, well-rounded view. Like if I had the time, I would have put together like a better presentation explaining like the numbers and the trajectory rate of this and how like the communicability of this disease, the transmission rate, all of it. I would put it together better. But there's so many different factors and so many different vector points to this that it's mind numbing that you have to just prepare yourself. You can try to figure.
But another thing though, EJ, is that, our borders are still open.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Our borders are still open. Here's an example. My son, everybody knows, my son has been he went down to Mexico City almost 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago. And he's been spending the last week, he's been in Puerto Vallarta. And he's from Washington State. He lives in Washington. And he left at 4:00 this afternoon. He got on a plane and he was flying back to Portland Seattle. And I'm sure I've got no messages from him saying that he was held up at the airport.
Oh, geez. Like he sent you messages, or you haven't even gotten messages? There's been no messages where I've been checking my messages periodically as we've been live, and even, at dinner while we were sitting here eating dinner, thinking that, oh my God, Mom, they've stopped us. They're not going to let us in, blah, blah, blah. No, he's coming from Puerto Vallarta, from Mexico City, where he's been down there for 10 days, and they're not even stopping him. And there's nothing. There's no messages from my son saying that he had any problem getting back into the country. I wonder if he had to sign like an NDAA or something like that, because I don't know how the whole quarantine procedure works. You know,
Well, I kept warning him. I was like, Mike, because yeah, he lives in Vancouver, Washington. I said, Mike, I said, you may not be able to get back into the country. They may put you in quarantine, hon.
yeah, they
And thinking that maybe they would shut down the border, or the not the borders, but shut down the borders, when he came back in. But no, there's been nothing. I've got no messages from him. So I mean, to me as a mom, I mean, whew, that's good. I'm glad they let him back in. But to me, that is, as a researcher and doing that's concerning to me.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is I have a friend that went through the quarantine process for 14 days. And then as soon as she got out, she went back to Texas from Shanghai, and they increased they said, oh, you're not going to show symptoms for 28 days.
Yes.
So she was during the 14-day period. They let her go. And so this whole time frame, she's just running around, going to shows,
shedding the virus. Yeah.
shedding the virus. And she may not have had it. But our quarantine procedures are definitely not like ready for this. Like, as a society, we're not ready. And so I don't want to notice this entire transmission. You've not heard me push vaccines.
No.
You've not heard me push like antiviral medication or pharmaceuticals. I push like all alternative and holistic approaches that people can take within their own natural life to detoxify their system, build their immune system up, and more. Because what they're pushing is all this fear, so that people run to the government saying, hey, how do we fight this?
Exactly. Because as we said at the beginning of the show, the New World Order is not going to come into effect out of force. It's going to come into effect by society and the population demanding it. And it's going to take an earth-changing event to push everybody to that level of saying, this is what we want, and them going, okay, no problem, we got that for you.
And it's going to be a series of events too. I wanted that out. It won't.
Right.
Like, I think, again, 9/11 was the start of it. It pointed out to us that we were entering into a crazy time period. The clock is ticking. It's going to be a series of events that lead us into this world order that they're trying to create. And if people don't start wrapping their heads around things, again, getting closer with God, stop looking for a political solution, understand what's happening, you'll make it through this. We know how the story ends. But if you keep looking to politics, Trump and everybody else to save you, you've already lost the battle.
Yeah.
You see. So get prepared, be aware, get prepared, but at the same time, I'm not sure how to say this, but get like a certain spiritual solitude to you. Find that peace. Find time to get in contact with God. Find that quiet place of the Most High. Realize that you need a relationship during these chaotic times, and they're going to help you understand everything much deeper, and yourself, as well as the tools that you have at your disposal, because we're all going to be able to make it through this. The question is do we want to make it through this? Do we want to figure out how to help others get through this? And what do we want to do once we get through this? You
Right.
see.
Exactly. I mean, you look at the Spanish flu of the early 20th century, and they came through it. I mean, it was rough. They lost so much of the population, but they got through it, and it became became history, part of our history. And again, coronavirus will too. But then again, you have to say, what kind of life altering long-term effects that it's going to have on us as a society, as a population, as a world. And if I do believe that if the elite have their way, that life-altering event will be the New World Order, or some further form of implementation of it. Maybe not the whole entire thing. Maybe the cashless society part of it. Maybe the open border part of it. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know exactly, but I know that this is being used to push forward this agenda. And, it's, like I said, it's the bullet that's coming toward us. It's the train that's left the station. And there's nothing really we can do to stop it, but we can prepare for it.
Yeah, I want to say this and kind of end it out on this note, if I can.
Yep.
I'm critical of Trump. I'm critical of everybody, as you should be. My hate does not segregate. I hate everyone
Yeah.
equally.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I've been critical of Trump on this show. I try to be. I'm critical of everybody. I realize now, dude, Trump's trying to do the best he can with a world that's going to crap. And we all understand that he's a puppet put there. He's basically just put there so we have someone else to blame. But can you blame him with all this crazy stuff that's going on? It's nuts, dude. He's doing the best he can. He's over
Yeah.
here like in Tennessee with these people saying, we stand with you. And they're yelling at him saying, Trump, hurry up and give us like
Yeah.
masks. What's going to happen after he gets that? So it's crisis after crisis. The dude's doing the best he can. I get that. He's a puppet. Yeah, for sure. We need to stop getting into this mindset where we blame everybody else for our problems. I'm not saying this is our fault, but a certain level of authenticity and being real when it comes to these topics, these conspiracies, and so much more, that helps you navigate it. But people like to put up on fronts and airs, and that's where they get lost. It's that mask. It's that delusion. Once you understand like how dire straits are and that we all do need as much help as we can get, you understand that we are all we have and we have to make it through it together.
Exactly. And, and I've said this before with Trump also, is that, I mean, I'm critical also of him. I make no qualms about that. And I do make no apologies about that. But, he has to also maintain some sort of calm. He can't. Can you imagine what would happen if he were to completely close the borders and say that's it? No flights in and out of the U.S. Blah blah blah. You think it's crazy right now at Walmart?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I've been saying all throughout Trump's presidency, Obama was meant to bring us down to a third world status. Trump was designed to pump us up briefly like the dead cat bounce, make us think that America's coming back, only for us to collapse. We're about to hit that collapse point. And so as we hit that collapse point, I think we should all just understand, dude did the best he can. It's on us to see what American values and what culture we want in this new world order. It's here. But are we going to try to take it with us into the future? Are we going to try to take Americana into the future with us? Or what principles and what values, what morals, what standards, what beliefs do we have in this latter stage of America that we want in the new world order? And so that's all. Yeah, Trump's doing the best he can, but what are we going to do to take it the next leg?
Exactly.
That's what I got, man. That's what I got.
Thank you, EJ. This has been just amazing. And I'm gonna just say what I say at the end of every show is that please do not take what we say on merit alone. We provide you with the information that we've uncovered so that you can do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Study to show yourself approved. Test all things. Again, all the links that we've talked about and that we've used today will be in the description area below under the video in just a little bit. Just give me and him some time to gather them up and get them to you. I will put the preliminary ones in there first, and then I will go back. So, I mean, even if you see links that are there, they will not be the same links that may be there in a couple of hours. Just give us a little bit of time. Again, you know what? We're not perfect. And EJ and I never make claims to be perfect. We're only human. We grow in our knowledge. What we say today may not be what we put out there a year from now. It just depends on the information that becomes available to us. And that we don't believe in being stagnant in what the information that we put out. We make sure that we keep up with things and we bring them to you. So EJ, you can find him over on Factions of Freedom. You can find him. You know what? It's probably easier for you to tell us where we can find you because you are all over the place, mister.
I'm trying to get a little bit more focused. I swear. I really am. It may not seem like it, but I'm trying.
Where can we find you, dear?
You can find me at, I'm like Laurie said, I'm all over social media. I operate primarily on Instagram under freedom_faction. I'm also on Facebook at Factions of Freedom. Twitter as well, YouTube, Brighteon, BitChute. We're all over the place. You can find weekly podcasts on iTunes and Google Play Music, any other major podcasting platform, as well as SoundCloud, Mixcloud, TuneIn Radio. We do exclusive member chats and discussions and all kinds of stuff on Patreon. If you're interested about that, come hang out. We have all kinds of different content. We put this stuff out daily, weekly, and we do all of this because, like we talked about through this transmission, is we have a calling to do so. We get called fear mongers, fear porn lovers, agents, trolls that I get told I work for the government, all kinds of paranoid things simply because we care, simply because we don't want to see humanity go down this road. And it's very rare that we find lights such as Laurie and Robbie D, Cindy Ashby, the great people over there at Fellowship and Freedom, on the Wake Up Radio. So many great people have come along the way in this fight. And I'm so grateful to be here that I'm just going to say thank you, Laurie. So you can find us all over social media. And we hope you join us.
Absolutely. And again, I'm going to put the links everywhere that you can find EJ down in the description area. Also, you can find Global Watchmen News. We're on Facebook. We're on BitChute. We're on DLive. We're on Twitter. We have our Facebook group. We have our Facebook page. We have Discord, which moderators have put Discord. Are you on Discord yet?
I need to get on there.
You need to get on Discord. It's great over there. There's no censorship. I can send you one of my admins and he can help you out.
I might take you up on that because I don't do group chats. It's something new that I'm doing, setting meeting dates and group discussion dates and stuff like that. Yeah. But I might take you up on that.
Yeah. So we have actually two of my admins are in the chat right now. Mad Max is one of my moderators, and also Kenny. He was there earlier. I don't know if he's still here now, but Kenny is also my admin over there. So Max and Kenny are the admins for my Discord. So if you guys have any questions, go over there and ask him for that. He will tell you how to get in the Discord, and he can help you out with anything once you get there. He has it all set up for you. There's a welcome page. It's whatever you need. Just, pop in one of the links there and ask away. Don't be afraid. If you can't maneuver it, just ask one of us. There's a lot of people. I think I got like 60 some people in Discord right now.
Wow.
So yeah, it's new to me. I'm just learning it. Max has the reins over there. Him and Kenny, I have no idea what I'm doing over there, to tell you the truth. So,
but this level of organization is needed, and even if we can't do it, it's good that you have team members that'll help you get it done.
I'm very thankful to have met Max, and I actually met him in another Discord, another channel here on YouTube, and he's been fantastic helping me out and building the Discord and putting up with me not knowing what I'm doing over there, because I don't know it. I'm doing it all. Oh my God. So, and I've been sick the last week and been kind of out of service, and I've kind of been scarce over there, but I'll be getting back to going over there. So, but EJ, thank you so much, love. We say this all the time, but we've got to do this again very soon.
It's happening in shorter spurts. We're seeing each other in relatively shorter spurts than like a couple years.
Right. We are. Yes. But, we need to do some of our paranormal stuff again. That was so interesting. Guys, if I'm going to put the link in the description area, there's going to be so many links for you guys tonight. But yeah. EJ and I, we did our paranormal broadcasts, and they were my favorite ones. I think that we did was him and I when we did the Paranormal Tuesdays. And like I said, there's some crazy stuff that happened that you guys you'll be able to see on the video. Just some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
kind of like tonight. What happened was, and I got to tell you, EJ, I have not had technical difficulties in a long time.
Well, that's why I'm like, I guess I'll stop getting excited. I guess I'll just shut down now, go do something else. I guess I'll go watch sports. I think the Celtics are on,
There you go. And when I do come through again, I'm going to make sure that I time my visit. And I could kick myself in the butt last time I went through. It was in the middle of the night, and I didn't want to call you because I'm like, it's in the middle of the night. He's not going to meet me in the middle of the night. And I just should have bit my pride and just been like, yo, EJ, come meet me. You know,
It's
but
okay that it sets it up for next time, because there will be a
exactly.
next time and a
There
time
will
after.
be, absolutely. We are selling our home here and we are moving out to Arizona. So there will be a next time.
Come out west. It's much better for you. The air's
It is.
better.
I'm telling you. I'm telling
know.
you. So, all right, guys. Anyways, so thank you to Factions of Freedom. Thank you to everybody in the chat room. I want to take the opportunity to welcome everybody who joined us. Like, again, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that. So until next time, why don't you take us out, EJ?
However, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we really have for you guys and gals. Until next time, this is Laurie Alexander and EJ Clinton over here on Global Watchmen News. We'll be right back right after this. I just want to say real quick, because my tagline's a little bit different. I just want to say.
No, you say your tagline. Go ahead.
You'll be say the tagline? Okay. And remember, guys and gals, stay vigilant, expose lies, and share truth. This is Noise Era, Freedom Faction, and Laurie Alexander of the Global Watchmen News, out.